Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
It was a significant day in Washington, D.C. on September 5, 2025. From the White House, a dramatic announcement was made. President Donald Trump signed an official order that would change a very famous name. For almost 80 years, the United States military has operated under the Department of Defense. But now, this long-standing name will also include a former title. The official order stated that the Department of Defense will also be known as the Department of War. This marks the biggest change to the U.S. military in nearly 8 decades. The name Department of War was last used before 1947, managing the country's armed forces through major conflicts like World War I and World War II. Changing it back shows a clear shift in how the military sees itself and its role. This decision reflects President Trump's belief that the word defense sounds too weak. He thinks the name Department of War better shows America's strength and readiness. This symbolic change will impact how the military operates and how other countries view the United States. This important story begins on that historic day, September 5, 2025. It is the start of a new era, with new ideas guiding the nation's military forces. People across the country and around the world will pay close attention to the impact of this unprecedented change. 2. A look at the past. Before the recent order by President Donald Trump, the United States military had used a different name for many decades. However, even before that, there was an even older name, the War Department. This name was used for a long time in American history, starting in the year 1789. It continued until 1947. During those years, the War Department was very important. It managed the country's military forces through many big moments. For example, it oversaw the Army during the Civil War, World War I, and World War II. It was the main government office for all military matters related to these major conflicts. People knew it as the part of the government that prepared for and fought wars. After World War II ended, the world changed. President Harry Truman led the country to rethink its military structure. In 1947, a new law called the National Security Act was passed. This law changed the War Department's name to the Department of Defense. The new name was chosen for an important reason. It was to show the world that America's military role was more about defending the nation and keeping peace. This new name helped create a less aggressive image in the world, especially when nuclear weapons became a new concern. The old War Department was much smaller than the Department of Defense we have today. In its time, the War Department mainly focused on the Army. The Navy had its own separate department. There was no single organization that managed all military branches together. But after the change in 1947, the new Department of Defense brought all parts of the armed forces together. It became a huge organization that now oversees 5 different military branches, manages global intelligence operations, and handles nuclear weapons systems. It also works with many civilian staff and international partners around the world. The shift from war to defense showed a major change in America's military goals and how it wanted to be seen on the world stage. 3. A new leader. The military had a new leader, Secretary Pete Hegseth. He took charge of the military department. Before this important job, Mr. Hegseth was known for working on television as a host. He also had a background as a soldier, having served in the Army National Guard. This experience gave him a clear understanding of military life and combat. Secretary Hegseth brought strong new ideas to the military. He wanted all soldiers to live by a warrior ethos. This means he believed every person in the military should focus entirely on being a skilled fighter. He wanted them to be always ready for any battle. His vision was clear. Soldiers should be warfighters above all else. He felt the military's main job was to be ready for war, not just to keep peace. He believed this focused mindset would make the military stronger and more effective in protecting the country's interests. His plans for the military included big, wide-ranging changes. He wanted to make sure all training focused only on combat skills and winning. He said the military needed to be the most lethal force in the world. This meant being able to defeat any enemy quickly and decisively. To reach this goal, he planned to change many existing programs. For instance, he wanted to stop programs that focused on diversity, fairness, and inclusion. He believed these programs moved the military away from its essential fighting mission and traditional values. Secretary Hegseth also wished to bring back old traditions. He supported renaming military bases to their older historical names that honored past military figures. He believed in a strong, clear structure and strict discipline, much like in earlier times. When he took office, he shared a direct message with all military members. He wrote, "We will bring back the warrior ethos and restore trust in our military. We are American warriors. We will defend our country. Our standards will be high." This message clearly outlined his vision for a military focused on tradition, strength, and combat readiness. He was a very strong supporter of changing the name of the military department to the Department of War. He felt this name truly showed what the military did and what its purpose was. He believed the word defense sounded weak, suggesting only a reactive role. He thought war sounded much stronger and clearly showed readiness to act. Once, during a trip to a military base in Georgia, he spoke to reporters. He said to them, "Thanks for traveling with the War Department." This simple phrase showed how much he already believed in the new name and its importance. He felt it was a very important step in making the military focus on its primary fighting purpose. He was confident that this change would help the military look and act stronger on the world stage, reflecting a renewed sense of purpose and power. 4. The President's idea. President Donald Trump had a strong reason for wanting to change the name of the military department. He felt that the word defense sounded weak. He believed it did not truly show the power and strength of the United States military. For President Trump, the word defense meant only protecting, but he wanted a military that was ready for both defending and, if necessary, attacking. He thought the old name did not reflect the military's full capability. The president often looked back at America's history. He remembered that during big victories, the military operated under a different name. He often said, It used to be called the Department of War, and it had a stronger sound. He pointed to major conflicts, noting, "As you know, we won World War I, we won World War II, we won everything." These past successes, he believed, proved that the name War Department was linked to triumph and strong resolve. This idea of changing the name was more than just a small administrative choice for President Trump. It was a key part of his larger plan for the nation's military. He wanted to make the American military appear and be seen as even more powerful and ready across the globe. By bringing back the Department of War title, he felt he was fulfilling a promise. This promise was to ensure the military looked stronger and showed clear readiness to act when needed. The White House also shared this view, stating that the term Department of War sent a clearer message of readiness and strong will. It was not just about words, it was about showing the world America's firm stance. For President Trump, this name change was a symbol. It represented his overall vision for the future of the military and the country. He wanted a military that was not just capable, but also projected an image of unmatched power and a clear ability to defend national interests. This symbolic change was meant to signal a new and powerful direction for the U.S. Armed Forces under his leadership. 5. What politicians think. For the name change to last, the government must vote. Not everyone agrees with the president's idea. Some politicians support the change. They have started a new law called the Department of War Restoration Act. Senator Mike Leahy and Representative Greg Steube introduced this law. Senator Rick Scott also supports it. They believe the old name sounds strong and shows America's power to fight. However, other politicians strongly disagree. Senator Tammy Duckworth, who is a combat veteran and was hurt in a war, spoke against the idea. She serves on an important committee for the military. Senator Duckworth asked why money for this name change is not used to help military families instead. She also suggested using the money to help diplomats prevent wars. She feels President Trump is using the military for political reasons, not to truly make the country safer or help the brave soldiers. There is a big debate about what is truly important for national security. Some people question if changing the name will make America safer. They also talk about the cost of this change. It could be millions or even $1 billion. The White House has not said how much it will cost. Many believe this money could be used for other important things for the military. Even though Republicans control Congress, passing this law will be a difficult process. 6. The big changes. The president's order to change the military's name brought many big changes. One of the biggest was the cost. Changing the Department of Defense to the Department of War would be very expensive. Some people thought it could cost millions of dollars. Others believed it might even be $1 billion or more. This money would be needed to change everything that carried the old name. Imagine all the things that say Department of Defense. Every sign at military bases around the world needs to change. Every soldier's uniform patch needs to be new. All the cars, trucks, and planes that have the old name must be updated. Even small things like letterheads for official papers and email addresses for military staff must be changed. This also includes all the military websites and computer systems. This job was much, much bigger than just changing the names of a few army bases. For example, changing 9 army bases cost the military about $39 million. But this new change was for every military place, every vehicle, and every communication system across the globe. It was a huge task that would take a long time and a lot of money. Beyond the visible changes, there was also hard work behind the scenes. Thousands of federal laws mentioned the Department of Defense. Each of these laws needed to be carefully reviewed and possibly changed by Congress. Also, international agreements and treaties used the old name. These would need updates as well. Perhaps the biggest technical challenge was updating all the computer systems. The Pentagon uses some of the world's most complex computer networks. Changing these systems while making sure they stayed safe and worked well would be a massive job. It could take many years to finish everything. This whole process would be difficult and very expensive for the country. 7. What the world thinks. President Donald Trump's decision to change the Department of Defense to the Department of War made many people think, not just in America, but all over the world. This new name sends a big message. It changes how other countries might see the U.S. America has many friends and allies. These are countries that work closely with the U.S. on important global matters. They often help each other with defense and security. When they heard about the new name, some of them began to worry. They wondered if the United States was becoming more aggressive. They were used to working with a Department of Defense, which sounded focused on protecting. The new name, Department of War, might make them think the U.S. wants to fight more often. This could make international talks harder. The U.S. government might need to explain this change a lot to its friends. They would need to say that America still wants peace and safety, even with a new name. Other countries, especially those that are not friends with the U.S., might use this change for their own plans. Countries like China and Russia could say that the United States is now more focused on fighting and war. They could use the name change to show America as a country that wants to control others, not just protect itself. This kind of talk is called propaganda. It could make it harder for the U.S. to work with some nations. It might also make some international agreements less strong. The name change could also affect the U.S. military itself. It could change who wants to join the armed forces. Secretary Pete Hegseth, the new leader, believes in a warrior ethos. This idea is about being a strong fighter. Some young people might like this. They might feel proud to join a Department of War, but others might not. Some people join the military to help others, to keep peace, or to provide aid. They might not like the idea of joining a Department of War if they think it means only fighting. So it could become harder to find new people for the military. The new name is more than just words. It makes the world think about what America truly wants to do with its powerful military. It could change how countries act towards each other. 8. What happens next? The change to the Department of War is more than just a name. It is a new way of thinking for the United States military. This big change shows a new direction for how America's soldiers will act. It also changes how the country sees its role in the world. President Donald Trump wanted this new name because he believes defense sounds weak. Secretary Pete Hegseth, the new leader, supports this idea strongly. He wants a warrior ethos for all soldiers. This means focusing on fighting skills and strength. It is a big change from the ideas the military has had for almost 80 years. This shift affects everything, from training to how the military speaks to the public. Many people wonder if this new direction will make the country safer. America's friends and allies around the world might watch with worry. They may ask if the U.S. is becoming more aggressive or if its focus is only on fighting. Other countries might see it as a sign of great power and a clear message of strength. The new name could change how the U.S. works with other nations, making diplomacy harder. It could also affect how many people want to join the military. Some military members already feel divided about the change, with some supporting it and others having doubts. The success of this move will depend on how well it is done, if the public accepts it, and if it truly helps America reach its goals while keeping strong military values. The story of this new Department of War is only just beginning. It started on September 5, 2025, and will shape America's place in the world for many years. The world has many problems, and this change happens during a time of global tensions. We will see how this new focus on war helps or makes it harder for the United States to handle these challenges. This transformation will define the American military for generations to come. It is a big step for the nation, and its impact will be felt globally. What do you think? Will changing the name to the Department of War make America stronger or create more problems for the future?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.